Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the City of Palatka, Florida Community Redevelopment Agency meeting on December 8th, 2025. It is now 5 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll begin with an invocation. Is Pastor Mulberry zooming in? Invocation.
Yes, he is.
Oh, thank you. Good. Led by Pastor Mulberry, and Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Jackson. Please stand.
Good evening, everyone. Father, we give you thanks and praise again for the opportunity to come before your presence. We thank you for this time of sharing this meeting, God, that you have ordained for such a time as this. We pray, God, your blessing to be upon these, your leaders, crown their heads with wisdom and understanding, God, those things that are necessary to move the city in the rightful direction. We thank you, dear God, for every one of these leaders and for their expertise and what they do to further this cause for the city. We thank you now for all that you're doing, God, for Palatka, Putnam County, and the surroundings. We pray their blessing upon us continuously. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which advances one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Jones. Present.
Present. Commissioner Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Palatka.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Present.
Thank you. We have quorum. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from November 10th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
With
Second.
we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. I do have a few cards here. These are on specific topics and that are on the agenda. If there's anybody, let's see, Vito, anybody who's here to talk about any items or have any public comment items that are not listed on the agenda, please come forward. Those of you who submitted a card, when we get to that item, we'll call you for public comment. Anybody here for public comment, general items? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Going on to regular business.
Mayor, there are 3 items that we will have to pull off of the agenda. The first item is the CRA plan update. We received from the consultant their desire to want to go back through the refined scope to be certain that everything that they say we do or need to have done will keep us compliant. So they found that there was a need to sit with us again. So that's item B. Item D, we will have to pull that item. Today, the city attorney went back through it and found that the legislator, I should allow her to explain it. That would be better if you would.
Do you want to do that now after a motion is made?
Or after the motion?
Just, you can do it now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure. Basically, there has been some recent changes in the Florida statutes governing CRAs, and we are not allowed to use CRA funding for special events. So we're going to have to figure out how to reallocate those grant funds for some other project.
Okay, and then finally, item F was to accept the Florida Commerce Grant for the redevelopment of the Port Consolidated site. However, upon subsequent review, we realized that the applicant was not the CRA, but instead the city. So therefore, this would not, even though it's in the CRA district, the applicant was actually the city.
Okay.
Mhm.
We need a motion to modify the agenda.
I'll make a
as-
motion that we modify the agenda excluding items B, D, and F.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. We'll go on to
Have a-
item.
I have a question,
Go
Mayor.
ahead.
For, and this is for, Attorney West, I know it was pulled item D, but should we go ahead, or is there any official action so that it doesn't come back before us that we can do, or how would you? Because if we can't utilize that money, for special events, it doesn't need to come back before us, correct?
Correct. We are going to, I've been exploring other alternatives that would be consistent with the statute where you could allocate those funds. And I have shared some of those ideas with the city manager, but that's going to have to come back before this board. So you can make that policy decision on where you want the funds to go.
Perfect, just want to verify, thank you.
Thank you. On to item A, award of contract to Mayor Homes LLC, St. John's Avenue Streetscape Improvements. 2025-11 ITB for 1,368,085.20, 71% grant, 29% CRA funds. Mr. Carlos?
Hello, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here to present the contract to MAER Homes LLC. They do business as MAER Construction. We did the procurement process. We opened the bids. I believe we received around 5 to 6 bids. It's in the package. They were the lowest and most responsive bidder on this bid. We sent everything to the engineer for review, and we sent everything to FDOT for review. This is an FDOT grant. As you remember, when I did a presentation maybe 2 months ago, we had 1,060,000 remaining for the FDOT grants, and then we have 600,000 allocated from CRA funds. So the contractor is pre-qualified by FDOT. FDOT approved them. So we're just willing to award them here. I was not able to upload a preliminary schedule that they sent us for the project. Remember, this project should be done by December 2026. So we're aiming to start like early January, this project. So I have some copies in here of the preliminary schedule. I don't know if I can share with you, but they're saying here that they're about to start in January 5th, and the project should be done by November the 12th. I know one day you asked me, Mayor, about where they're going to start. And in the schedule that they sent me, they're about to start in the west side. That's going to be 11th Street. So this is where they're going to start.
Okay, because I think that this is just me to, from talking to merchants, well, actually, the organizers of the Azalea Festival, they have concerns about how that will impact that. So would it be better to start in the 400 block and get those blocks done first? So they're done before Azalea Fest? And what's the date, Miss, for Azalea Fest, March? February, okay, so it's gonna be tight either way. Okay, maybe it makes more sense to start 11.
Yeah, so I think we
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
into
I think
details
we-
later, and then we can, you know,
Okay.
discuss if it's better to start on 4th
Yep.
Street. This is something we can discuss with the
But
contractor.
I think we need to discuss,
the-
yeah, talk to the folks organizing the RHP,
That-
and see how they feel, what they think is best. That won't impact the festival in a negative way.
Yeah, that's something definitely we can discuss with them in the pre-construction meeting. I mean, this is not happening until we award the contract to them, but yes, this is what I have in this item. Obviously, we're like under budget on this project, so that's something good. The engineer estimate cost for the project, as you remember, was like 1.4 million. And this was not including the bump outs. So, and they came like in 1.2, I believe, without the bump outs. So we're like under budget. So that's something positive, and they seem to be like really good company. I've not worked with them. The city, I don't believe, has worked with them before, but they seem to have a really good reputation. So
Thank you, and it's exciting that it's finally happening. Also, are they gonna be able to meet with the downtown merchants prior to starting? and
yes,
getting
that's
them
something
hyped up?
that's
Great,
something we can
thank
make
you.
happen. So that way
you.
everyone knows what's happening.
Sounds good. Any questions? Seems not. Thank you. We'll go on to C, Four Seasons Landscape.
We're gonna vote.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Motion
didn't,
to
I
approve.
didn't look the right way. Go ahead.
Second.
Motion to approve.
Oh,
Second.
We have motion, second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Four Seasons Landscape, South Historic District Phase 1 landscaping proposal.
I'm gonna ask Ms. West, please. to
Uh,
respond.
Yes, So if you recall, you all met Mr. Shane Ellison of Four Seasons Lawn and Landscaping. He was here with his wife to make a personal introduction. And he is going to be continuing to work with the city. This is the first phase of streetscaping in the South Historic District. It contemplates installing 40 15-gallon live oak trees and 65 15-gallon Dahoon hollies. Both are native trees to Florida and this particular area of Florida. The cost of $16,450 also includes the labor of installation, the mulching, and then the landscaping company is committing to making sure the trees don't die due to lack of watering by watering them for a 1-year time period. So this will be along the Oak and Laurel Street corridors. The species of the tree will depend on whether or not there are utility lines up above. So if there is a utility line, and he walked the entire path of Oak and Laurel, if there's a utility line, it's going to be a Dahoon holly. If there's not a utility line, it's going to be a live oak.
And more important, the budget is sufficient for the services as well.
Does anybody have any more questions on this or have any questions? No? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
A motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to E, solar powered lights.
So this item is that we just wanted to bring this back to the CRA board. From everything that we can understand, there was not an actual approval as to how to move forward. But historically, or the background is that if we were to, there are 17 gas lamps, and if we were to move forward with gas, it would cost us at least $6,200 annually, not considering the repairs and maintenance of approximately $7,000. However, if we were to replace them, oh no, we forgot to bring the sample. We were gonna bring it out of my office, the solar, so we could turn the light off and they could see, please. I'm sorry about that. So we do have, we actually have the solar lamp here so that you can see how it looks in the dark. And that would cost us for all 17, about $2,500. So we are recommending, our staff recommendation is that we move forward with the solar lamps. And there was some research that we did also, Ms. West, about the routine,
Recurring.
right, recurring. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So I was asked to research whether or not the CRA can fund recurring operating expenses such as utilities. And based upon my research and several AGO opinions, it is my legal opinion that it cannot. So for that natural gas utility monthly fee, that is not something that can be funded out of CRA funds.
So therefore, you know, what we're trying to make you understand is that paying the $6,000 or more annually is a recurring fee, so we cannot do that. But this right here, covering off 17, we hope that if we turn all the lights off, you can see how nice and pretty. Maybe, oh, it's not gonna shine for us?
It probably has a time delay on it.
Does it, do you have to, is there a
I-
switch?
today, so.
Oh, so it didn't get enough light today. Well, forget it. But at nighttime, it shines in my office. So it does shine, okay? I wanted you to see it. I'm sorry. At least we tried. The thought was there. But basically, it looks very nice. It's historic looking. And really, I've come by at night and it shines brightly. So as long as we have sun, which we normally do, this shines at night. And the cost differential is significant. Only $2,500 covers all 17 lamps. So
Is it coming on now?
No.
It's
no.
coming on?
No, 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 no.
like the color.
Oh, okay.
Also, as follow-up to Ms. West's information, I did call the Florida Redevelopment Agency, and an attorney from the Florida Legal Cities left me a message back saying that TIF funds cannot be used for recurring utility costs such as electricity, water, gas, anything like that. It should be restricted just to redevelopment-related expenses.
I'm also would like to bring up planning director to give us more context.
evening. Just to make you aware that this lamp was presented to the Historic Preservation Board for a certificate of appropriateness, and the board denied this lamp. They denied the certificate. So I presume that if you agree to have this, it probably will have to go back to the Historic Preservation Board for their consideration to get a
Okay.
certificate.
But they were not aware at that time that legally we cannot use TIF funds to.
Right.
pay
That was
for
not their
this
purview.
cost.
That's
It was just, the way it looks, and whether it was gas or it was solar, they preferred the gas.
Right, I'm just saying, they didn't have
Yeah.
that information at the time,
right.
though.
None of us did because
Yeah.
that we weren't aware yet of that. But the new information that we now have is that we cannot use TIF money for recurring, that type of recurring expenditure. Which would be utilities, gas.
Correct.
We cannot do
Gas,
that.
electric, anything of that nature. Thank you.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions before I
I
open?
think it was
public comment?
brought to you to make a decision. I think that's why we brought it back.
Yes, I have people here for public comment,
Yes,
though, and I
ma'am.
wanted to. Ms. Roach, who also wanted to comment on 4A, 4E, and 4F, and I missed 4A, but come on up, please. Name and city or town of residence, 3 minutes.
Cheryl Roach, Palatka, Florida. After being saddened by the thought of our gas lamps only shining for a brief period during the holidays and are paid for by few South Historic homeowners, I put this topic on the CRA agenda in the beginning of the year. On the day of the meeting, my presentation was thwarted by elected officials and city employees. Today, I thank Mr. Campbell and Mr. Pelletier for bringing this topic back to the agenda. There are 17 standing gas lights in the South Historic District. One was run over by a car and never replaced. They are all in need of painting and replacement of the luminaires. Also, the installment of a flame guard, a glass cylinder which goes around the flame, would help prevent blowouts. This would be prudent to keep costs down. My recollection is that there was a line item in the CRA budget to cover the expense of upgrading the existing lamps. Also, I was told, as was the board, that the CRA can pay for maintenance and lighting by Ms. Odom. So I would like verification of what exactly has changed. The Bay Village neighborhood in Boston is switching out their 2,800 gas lights to LED. What they've learned is swapping lights on paper sounds great, but the actual cost is expensive. Their LED lamps light at night with electricity. If you choose to go solar to have the lamps lit at night, you will need grid backup. That will also be expensive. Or you can go with a lithium battery backup. These are a huge theft risk and also costly. There is not the possibility of just a solar panel on top of a lamppost lighting all the time. The high cost of a green project should be paramount in the ultimate decision. The city local guidelines for historic homeowners are based on the Secretary of Interior standards preferring like-to-like wood to wood. However, substitute materials like vinyl windows and hardy siding can be used if local ordinances allow. To go solar should open the door of relief for South Historic homeowners who struggle maintaining and renovating their homes. Both vinyl and hardy are energy efficient and cost effective. To say you want solar street lamps because of the environment, but you demand wood to wood simply makes no sense. I now reference the threefold guide sent out to historic areas from the city. I quote, "This guide aims to help residents understand the benefits, responsibilities, and processes associated with living in a historic district in Palatka, ensuring both preservation of our heritage and the enjoyment of a unique living environment." I have copies if you all would like that. If the city and the CRA board votes to install solar lamps, they will be completely contradicting their own words. In closing, the lamps are currently lit. Their glow lifting the neighborhood dramatically. There is no reason they should not stay, considering the huge surplus of the CRA budget. If you allow the lights to dim, it proves you are not preserving our unique living environment in our city. I urge you to keep the gas lights burning for the preservation of city's heritage. And I would most certainly like a follow-up as to why suddenly we're being told that the CRA cannot cover the cost when I was specifically told, as was the commission, that it does cover it. And I would also like to hand out the flyers that were distributed by the planning board pertaining to the preservation of our CRA districts.
Thank you. Allegra Kitchens. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Allegra Kitchens, please.
Allegra Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. First of all, bottom line is this. This is a historic district. Solar lights are not historic. They did not have solar lights in the turn of the century. They did not have it in the 1800s, the 1700s, or the early 1900s. So solar lights, number one, are not historic. I agree with Ms. Roach. If you're going to make people keep historic for their and not use vinyl and not use plastic, then you can't make them use solar. Also, I would wonder, lights are utilities, are they not? That's a utility. Doesn't matter whether it's electricity, gas, LED, or something beamed down from the Starship Enterprise, that's a utility. Therefore, solar lights being lights are also utilities. So how can they not come under utilities? I don't see why they can't be paid for under utilities. They are utilities. If you produce a light, that's a utility. The other thing, and this is almost as important, the most important thing is they're not historic to the neighborhood. No matter how you turn it, they're not historic to a historic district, period. At the previous meetings, which I've spoken and been at, there's been other presentations on money. I don't have the information. The gas lights were way cheaper than the solar lights to maintain and to keep up and to do. And as far as the thing about, oh, painting and this and that, guess what, people? Solar lights have to be painted too. Their posts rot just like the regular light. No difference in the post. The only difference is the sunlight, when it's available in Florida, might keep them lit. Now, I'll tell you this. I've done research on solar because I was interested in solar panels on my house. Solar is not a good proposition for the state of Florida. Why? We're the Sunshine State. Because while we're the Sunshine State, we have a massive cloud cover, and that helps dim solar. It does not work well. We also are known as the rain state of the world, just about. We have a lot of rain. We have a lot of cloud cover when we don't have rain. That does not help solar. I have solar lights in my yard. I love them. They're gone by 10 o'clock at night. And that's if you got 12 hours of sunlight during the daytime. Solar does not last. It does not last 24 hours. It will go out. You have to have sunlight. You have to have a cloudless sky. Solar is not a good option for the historic district from this fact that solar is not good in the state of Florida. No matter what you hear, Google search it, Bing search it, research it. The other thing is, it is not historical. You cannot get around the fact it's historical. It is not historical, period. And if the CRA funds can't pay for the gas authority, work something out with them. You own the gas authority. You have access to their extra money. Work something out with them. There's a way to keep the gas lights, and the gas lights are what you need to keep. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Russo?
Yes. When does my clock start? I only got 3 minutes, not enough time.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Vito Russo. I live at 415 Emmett Street here in Palatka. I'm the president of the Neighborhood Association. Speaking on the gas street lamps. The Neighborhood Association, when Ken Campbell was the president, bought these gas street lamps, and the Neighborhood Association owns them. So really, the ownership of the gas street lamps is a bit of a moot point, don't you think? Because nothing should be happening to these gas street lamps that the majority of that neighborhood doesn't agree with, whether the city wants to make an argument that they own it, or if the neighborhood association is going to consider to be ownership. Now, we have always acted as if we're owners. We basically pay for the lighting up during the holiday season. we've paid for having a few of them, of the heads, these heads here, replaced because the flame kept blowing out. So in fact, that was a couple of years ago, the Palatka Gas Authority switched out a couple of heads for us. The one gas street lamp that Cheryl was referencing that got hit by a drunk driver and smashed into 3 pieces. I picked those pieces up, took them to a shop and had them re-welded. And I actually went out there and repaired the base by leveling it back out and pouring a concrete cradle around it to keep it upright. So the gas street lamp number 17 is actually sitting in my yard, actually. So we would like to actually get that back out, but that thing is really, really heavy. So I think it's fairly unanimous that we like to keep the gas lamps rather than going with solar because of the historic nature of them. I think they look, they're beautiful when they're lit up like that. In fact, I would love to get FPL to turn off the electric street lamps and just have the gas street lamps lighting up the neighborhood. I think that'd be really cool. So, thank you.
Thank you. Pam Garris?
Thank you, Pam Garris, Palatka, Florida. The value of historic resources monetarily, aesthetically, and preserved for future generations of a city lies in the application of specific guidelines. Historic preservation experts offer tips on navigating these guidelines to preserve historic sources as cited in the article on homes.com Ballroom Blitz. Industry pros offer 5 tips for honoring a property's past by Rebecca San Juan, November 6, 2025. And I quote her article. In many communities, changes to historic facades often go before special panels set up to ensure the distinctive character of a home to be preserved. Well, we're talking about lights, but it's all a part of the neighborhood and where the homes are. It all goes together to create the ambiance of historically correct neighborhoods. The ensuing discussions can become quite testy as property owners seek to retain control of what happens to their own homes and communities striving to protect their architectural and cultural value. Our cultural value here, which is not valued by some people, are the historic resources we have. Many towns in Florida do not have that. You can't replicate them. They're there from a century ago, okay? Homeowners in the South Historic District approximately 10 years ago had control over how they wanted their TIF funds utilized through the CRA. This needs to revert back to this policy. I was living in the South Historic then, and I remember this distinctly. The purpose of the CRA is to eliminate blight in the specific 3 historic districts. Repair of the gas lamps purchased from the city for $1 each, approximately in the 2000s by the South Historic Neighborhood Association, should be funded by CRA funds. And I understand now that's a moot point according to the legal authorities and the League of Cities. These gas lights were originally lining the riverfront in the last century and were replaced with other lighting. These lights are historically authentic to the city of Palatka. Our city should always strive to preserve in a historically accurate mode. This protects the architectural and cultural values of our South Historic District and the whole historic city. The historic resources of the city of Palatka are its most valuable real estate when strict historic preservation guidelines are followed, as stated by experts in the article referenced. And if you'd like to read that article, it goes through how houses should be remodeled, renovated, and that details such as lighting should be as close to authentic as possible. It gets very specific. These rare historic buildings and neighborhoods are a great draw for tourism. An example is several individuals from out of town have told me personally that Grand Gables Bed and Breakfast is their favorite place to stay anywhere. Thus, preserved historic properties create a revenue strain in the economy of the city, as do bass tournaments. I implore you to vote to fund this. And I think, this is my editorial comment, there's a lot of money wasted in this city. you could find the money to fund these gas lamps.
Thank you,
If you
Ms.
can't fund it through CRA.
Thank you. And just for clarification, I did reach out to Ken Campbell, who was the president of South Historic Neighborhood Association when those lights were put up in the nineties, late nineties, and they were funded with CRA monies, according to him. They have only been there since the 1990s. There's no indication they were there in the neighborhood historically either. But I think we're back to the fact that legally we can't use TIF monies to fund utility costs. We can use them to refurbish the lights, but after that, that becomes an issue. Anybody else have any questions, discussion?
Well,
Go ahead.
anyway.
Go ahead, Mr. Commissioner Campbell.
I know what legal said, but at some given point, we have to take into consideration what the individuals of what I've heard. Of course, I can't speak for the whole South Side Historic District, but they have been advocating, and I have to give it to Ms. Roach. Ms. Roach brought this to us far enough in advance because the aim was to have it done by this holiday season, if I'm correct. Then I was a proponent of gas, just because of what I've seen and the combination of the neighborhood. However, I'm at a position now, given what legal has stated. But if there is a way, I would like to see us proceed with the gas portion versus the solar.
Anybody else?
Yes, I'll just chime in. I do know, it's a reason why, they have the CRA and even training on the CRA to be able to help us understand how we could spend funds as it relates to various things. And again, that's why legislation is pushing to do away with the CRAs because of how individuals in the past have utilized those funds. Now, just because this is a condition that we can't use the CRA funds to do that, there may be another mechanism and way through the city's general fund or what have you to be able to assist in that measure. But there's no way that I would put myself in a position to vote on something and knowing that it's not illegal, it's not legal to put those funds in that bucket, because the city have had to pay money back from years past with doing various things, whether it was through the Better Place Plan, through other grants that we've used and different things of that nature, and had to pay money back. So I don't want to go back to doing things that the way people did it in the past. We're given legal guidelines to be able to operate with these funds. So if there's a way that we can do it from the general fund, let's explore that, and I'll be happy to assist in that regard. But I was in support of it in the beginning with the gas lighting.
Mhm.
So again, when we got this new information as it relates to the law that's passed, I got to go with what legal says, and I'm not going to go that anything different.
Okay, I understand.
Anyone else? Commissioner? See?
To refresh my memory, what is the estimated yearly cost of gas to maintain those lamps?
$6,200.
$6,200 a year.
Yes,
for
sir.
17 lamps.
Yes, approximately. And then maybe a couple of more thousand for maintenance. But it should not exceed 10,000.
There's no money in the reserves, or can you use reserve money for this, or how does that work in city government?
I will, now that I'm being given directive, I will, with the finance director, look for funds in general fund as opposed to the CRA.
I was keeping an open mind about the LED lights there, and still have one, but I am very much of a historical thought that we need to maintain that look that keeps Palatka unique to Palatka and any other older towns. I worked in southern Mississippi for about 3 years, and that Biloxi area is very rustic and very Old South, if you will. And they had a light I saw in a lot of houses, and it had to be electric. But it looked just like a whipper of a flame. And it had to be electric. I never walked up to one and looked at it, but everybody had them. And I just don't think that gas was strung everywhere all over the city, but those were very real looking to see them on the fronts of those houses that out there. You know, just keep an open mind to everything that's out there, but I couldn't vote for anything like that until I'd have to see it. You know,
I know.
I'm just,
Sorry about that.
I can't see. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, number one, I think we're hearing loudly and clearly from the residents who have spoken. I know that on the report, it mentioned, pending, the feedback from the evaluation.
Yes, and I did research. The survey has not yet been completed. And that's why it's placed here pending the results of the survey. So because the position is vacant, we're not moving as quickly as before. But the survey, there was a survey done, but I would prefer to do one with Survey Monkey.
Yeah, and
It's
now I
much
was
more
I was
objective.
just bringing that up. Like I said, I hear consensus here. And I also agree with what I've heard before. One, we can't pay with it, with these TIF funds. So to that point, if there's an option to do gas with city funds, I think we should
Okay,
look at that option.
thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
And as far as mine, if I have some funds in my special events fund, maybe I can transfer some of those funds out, a portion of it to help in that regard. So I'll be happy to do that.
Thank
It's
you.
been noted.
But we need a long-term plan. I mean, this money would have to be allocated on an annual basis to make this happen consistently, as the folks that are here have asked. It can't be just short-term.
I
That's
understand,
not going
ma'am.
to satisfy their interest of the people that are here.
Right, I understand
But it's
that.
appreciated that
Right.
you offer to help.
I understand that, but it's, as long as I'm on the board and the allocations are there for the commission, everybody get those allocations. I'm just making the commitment to do it from my perspective, and actually the amount that's in there, it could take care of the whole thing. But again, I would like for the rest of the commission to chime in as well.
Go ahead, Commissioner. Yeah.
I just have a question, being that we're looking at the possibilities of paying out of some other funding sources outside of the TIF funds. Does this now become a commission decision versus a CRA decision? Because if so, I would like to move forward with making an official motion that we no longer entertain this on the CRA level, but bring this to the commission so that we don't have to wait to another CRA meeting to handle business one way or another, and that this officially be added onto the agenda of the city commission so that we can move forth accordingly.
It's
Thank you.
been noted, sir.
Are you making that motion?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to reports. Code compliance monthly and end of year report.
Good afternoon. I'm Harold Bartelli, City Palatka Code Compliance Office. Giving you a quick update of, excuse me, CRA issue we've had in an end of the year report. You should have a copy of this all in your briefing. So I'm gonna keep it quick and easy for y'all and not hold anybody up. From our last meeting from November 10th to December 11th, we've had a total of 8 new cases in the historic district areas. 3 pending and 5 have come into compliance or closed. And those houses and areas are in your packet. End of the year CRA report update for y'all folks. We've had since January 79 cases in all. in all three districts. 67 of those cases are closed or have come in compliance. As to this date, we have 12 of them that are still open. And 9 in this area that we've had, we'll call repeat issues where we had things on. Those are also in your report. Warehouses and locations. If anybody has any questions for me at this time, that'd be all.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. I have a statement.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bartelli, I think this was prior to your arrival in code enforcement, but we did mention when we get these reports, we would like to have photos of these violatable, violating offenses, like the houses or the residents. And it's a thorough report with the addresses,
Mhm.
but visual, if we could see exactly what we're talking about, especially like with the repeat offenders. It would be good to see the before, the after, what are we talking about, and the violations. So when they come to us for lien reductions and things of that nature, we actually have started. So I would request that we continue with that.
That's not an issue. I was unaware of that. I can put those in there to before, after photos, pending photos. That's not an issue at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Financial report year to date for the month ended October 31st, 2025. Ms. Pierre.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So the total revenues received year to date are 0. The CRA relies heavily on ad valorem tax revenues, which are assessed at the beginning of the fiscal year, but not collected until later, typically starting in November or December. So under the modified accrual accounting, revenues recognized only when it's measurable and available. Since the Putnam County tax collector does not distribute funds to the CRA until after collection begins, there is a natural lag between the start of the fiscal year and when revenue is actually received. As a result, no revenue is recorded in the first month of the fiscal year, as the CRA has not yet received or recognized its primary funding sources, such as property tax. Expenses and transfers to date total $16,797. The CRA's total budget for the fiscal year is $2,814,774, with 0% of revenues and 1% of expenditures realized as of this report. That pretty much ends my presentation, unless you have questions.
Anyone have any questions? Ms. Pierre? Thank you.
Thank you.
City manager report.
City manager report is that the CRA is continuing its operations, even though we are in the midst of interviewing applicants and trying to find the replacement. We are getting close. We even had an interview today. Additionally, myself with Mr. Lorenzo and also my administrative assistant, we are processing building improvement grants as they're coming in. We're actually at the point of paying, I believe, 3 of the grantors. So what that means is that they have finished their project. We have verified the documentation, and the project manager has also gone out to ensure that the project was successfully completed. So we will be dispersing those funds rather soon. So that's pretty much it. We do have a consultant that would like to come on board, but we believe that this position should be filled with a day-to-day individual that can go out to the community. Thank you.
Commissioner Campbell.
I do have a question, and I'm just out of consistency and transparency. I've asked this question in the last meeting as well. Even though there was a vacancy, it was an understanding that we were still moving forward with the logo project, the wayfinding, so that we would be able to go ahead and get some of that stuff done. It was stated at that meeting that there was working with the public information officer and that you all were close to bringing something back to us. So I just would like an update with regards to that.
We will have that update for you in the January meeting, but public information officer is working with the branding She's involved in that project. In fact, she's spearheading it. So I will make sure and bring an update in January. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions of Ms. Connie? Thank you. Before we adjourn, we do need to recognize Ms. Jackson's service to the CRA board in recognition of your dedicated service on the Community Development Agency since 2022. Your commitment, leadership, and contributions have greatly supported the mission of the agency and the growth of our community. With sincere appreciation, we honor your continued service dated the 11th day of December 2025. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. I don't know if anybody else has any words to say. Anybody else like to say anything?
Thank you.
Thank you. They always say thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's certainly been an honor and a pleasure to work alongside you on this board. You have certainly been an asset to our city. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. With that, are there any further items?
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We can't discuss it now. Once the meeting closes, you can't discuss it with all of us here.